Whoa, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in for the 10th episode of the Nostalgia Birthday Party podcast. If you remember us, I'm Mickey, and I'm here with the MVP of the podcast, Leah. Leah, say hello to everyone because I've missed you so much.
Hi, guys. I've missed you too, and I've missed all the listeners that have given us a moment of their time. We're back today with a couple of topics. We've got some sports to talk about, we've got video games, and we've got some TV news. So we can get right into it, Mickey.
Yeah, let's just get into the TV stuff because I feel like that's probably the freshest at this point. So, since our last podcast, there's been a lot going on in the world that we've all recognized and noticed. But Ruby Rose has stepped down as Batwoman. I kind of saw it coming, but I didn't really see it coming. I immediately messaged Leah about it. I'm like, yo, what's going on? She's like, yo, what's going on? And then immediately we started kind of like casting who we thought should replace her in the titular. Ugh, who should replace her in a titular? Who should replace her as Batwoman in this TV show? Now, me personally, I haven't watched as many episodes as Batwoman, so I didn't know how big of a loss to the show, other than Ruby being the lead of the show. I knew that when she was on Orange is the New Black, she kind of didn't like the schedule of being a regular on a TV show. So in the back of my mind, I was kind of thinking, it's only going to be a matter of time before she kind of gets tired of the hall of playing Batwoman. I also know that she had a really serious spine injury while working on the show, and I
Yep.
don't think she does like a ton of her own stunts on the show. So like for someone to get a injury as intense as she got, it would shake anyone up in any job that they had. If even if you worked at Kinney Shoes and something happened with your spine, I'm sure you'd be reconsidering whether you should be selling shoes at this place. But she stepped down, and that's kind of that. There's no real drama or behind the scenes stuff that I really heard about it. But me personally, I really kind of wanted Stephanie Beatrice uh,
Brooklyn
from
Nine-Nine.
Brooklyn Nine Nine, from Brooklyn Nine Nine, to pick up the cow. I just to get her in the Batwoman suit with the not her. I don't know, because like I kind of don't want her to use her real voice. I don't know if anyone listening to this has heard her real voice as opposed to the voice that she uses in the show, but it's like day and night. So if she was able to use her voice that she uses for her character on Brooklyn Nine Nine, I thought it could have been extravagant. But this is really Leah's forte. So let me roll the ball back over to her court and let her talk about what she thought about Ruby Rose stepping down in the new casting.
Well, with Ruby Rose stepping down, you lose some of that butch lesbian visibility. I mean, she was definitely the first in an iconic role on television, and to play that with her style, even though, you could argue she's not the greatest actress, she still grew into the role as the episodes went on, you could tell. And it's a little disappointing for plot purposes that she is leaving, because what the showrunners have decided to do is create an entire new character. So, I mean, at first, when the news hit that Ruby Rose was stepping down, I thought, they could recast the role, and Stephanie Beatrice would be pretty cool to play Kate Kane. But you had in show plot devices that could explain why Kate Kane had a different face. Her sister Alice, the crazy villain, literally makes new faces for people. So it was a letdown that they didn't just recast Kate Kane. But then when I saw the news of that just broke about who they cast for this new role of Ryan Wilder, out bisexual actress Javicia Leslie, um, woman of color, and She looks like she could throw a punch. Have you seen the definition on her arms and shoulders, Mickey?
Um, I'm gonna try to answer that and be as respectful as humanly possible. Um, so the first thing I noticed, I was going on YouTube and they had Batwoman in a they photoshopped the new actress's face over a Batwoman. It's like, oh, they found a new Batwoman. I'm like, wait, she's black. So I stopped everything and I immediately went to Googling whatever information was available about this woman on the internet. And I am all like, as much as I really did want Stephanie Beatrice just to at least get a shot at it,
Yeah,
like just to see if it could work for maybe a couple of episodes. Like I'm never gonna turn down a person of color, or rather a black person in a
right.
superhero role at all. So I'm glad they were able to get another black person to represent a superhero on TV so kids can see more black people in a hero role as opposed to a villainous role on TV. I yeah, I mean, the another thing I look at whenever I see someone being cast as like a superhero is like, does it look like not necessarily if they've ever been in a fight, but could they hold their own in a fight? And I do a couple of push-ups a day, but she definitely looks like she could mop the floor with me, so that's a okay with me. She's a part of the LGBTQ plus community, which I think was like
That
a
was a
key to the
requirement
role.
for the casting, yes.
And I mean, it, on one side of it, I think it sounds a little strange to like put it out there like, hey, if you're applying for this, like you have to like, we need to know if you're like, are you a part of the LGBTQ plus? Yes, Josie. Are you a part of the eight? Are you a part of the LGBTQ plus community? Are you? Huh? Tell me right now. Are you? On a level of 1 to 10, how gay are you? Tell me right now. Look me in the eyes. Like there's something a little weird about that, but on the other end, I kind of want someone to be, well, not I kind of want to, but I think it would be nice to see someone that's out about it and someone to be like, hey, I'm a part of your community. I'm playing this character that's a part of your community. You know, this isn't just a straight actor, playing make believe. This involves me. So I think that was clutch for them to cast a black LGBTQ plus actress in the role. That's the second for the CW. I'm not sure if Nafessa Williams is a part of the community outside of her role, but
Right.
I know these two that they're two black women on the LGBTQ plus community that are on TV, which I think is great. My only problem with the character, and I told you about this before,
Mm-hmm.
I was like reading like the kind of like, hey, this is the backstory of the character, and like me reading it, I got the feel a little bit that it was kind of like she's a sassy black woman that doesn't take any shit from it. Oh, I'm sorry. She's a sassy black woman that doesn't take any huss from anybody. She'll tell you how it is. She'll punch you in the face. And then I'm like, all right, well, relax. Maybe I'm in my feels a little bit. Maybe I'm misinterpreting that wrong. The only
No,
thing
you didn't
I
because the casting call specifically said drug runner. So
yeah, there
there's
it
a
is.
better way to go about that. Introducing a new character and the optics could be a little better. One of the alternative ways I saw a comment about casting the role is she could be Tiffany Fox, Luke's sister, and be introduced that way, or she could be, I don't know, like a lawyer or something that's seen one too many criminals skirt the justice system, and that would be an acceptable way for taking up the cowl.
Yeah, literally any of that's fine. I kind of it's something that I'm glad they fixed when they brought Miles Morales to the big screen with Enter the Spider Verse. Like originally his character was supposed to do a lot of like stealing and stuff with his uncle, but in the movie they took all that out. It made him just kind of a pure hero character, and that's kind of what I want for um this Wilder character. Like I would prefer if she wasn't a former drug dealer. Not saying that she can't, change her life or,
Mm-hmm.
she's not defined by this one thing or anything like that. But it will be nice to have some black superheroes that don't necessarily have drug dealing in their background. I mean, if we have people that can destroy planets with their eyes, I think we can get a few black people on TV that aren't former drug or former supervillains. But I'm very glad that she's a yeah. I'm very happy with the casting.
So, a big congratulations to Javicia Leslie. And one other congratulations, we can transition to Patrick Mahomes getting a 12-year, $503 potential $1 million contract.
Was it 12 or was it 10? I thought it was 10. It was 12.
I thought it was 12.
Okay, so it's either a 10 or a 12-year contract. Me personally, I feel like I was talking to one of my friends about this before. They're like, "Oh, do you think he's worth that much money?" And it's hard for me to say that any athlete is worth, X million dollars. I mean, $500 million. That's more money than I think I'll ever see in my life. It's hard to kind of wrap your mind around that.
When they
But
went
I
to the
think
playoffs this year, the country song "Take Me Home, Country Road," they changed it to "Take Me Home, Patrick Mahomes."
there, well, there you go, right there. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of comparisons with Lamar Jackson, so like I'll kind of group them into this thing together. I feel like they're both on track to having the career that Michael Vick should have had if he didn't let his off-field stupidity mess up his otherwise Hall of Fame career. Um, Patrick Mahomes, he's the son of Pat Mahomes, former Met, baseball player. Seems like he has a very good head on his shoulders. And this season, he's shown that he's durable. He's shown that he's clutch. He's shown that he can put the team on his back and, he can take them all the way. So is he the most valuable player in the league? I think he is. If you look at Lamar Jackson, the only other quarterback I can really say had that kind of effect on the position where everybody was talking about the way they play. I mean, once Lamar got to the playoffs, I mean, he kind of choked with the Titans. And I feel like if he was able to do what Patrick Mahomes did, that it would have been a little bit, well, obviously they're in the same division or conference, so only one of them could have gone to the Super Bowl. Exactly. See, Josie knows what I'm talking about. So I think if he would have won the Super Bowl, I think he would have been in a similar position to get this kind of money. Would he have gotten it? I mean, who's to say? But
I don't think Lamar Jackson could have gotten that long of a contract or even that much of a contract because, you talk about, you group Patrick Mahomes in there with the Michael Vick style play, but I think he's a little bit different. He doesn't rely totally on the running quarterback. I don't want to say gimmick, but it's kind of a gimmick even though he's really good at it. It's just not sustainable. It's dangerous type of play, you know, with the injury possibilities. So Patrick Mahomes getting this type of contract, sure, he looks like the MVP, absolutely. But do I see Lamar Jackson getting that kind of money or that kind of length of contract? No, I don't.
I think he would have gotten a kind of a Madden standard 7-year deal with a ton of money on it. I don't think it would have been hundreds of millions of dollars attached. I think it would have been more realistic to a football contract I see quarterback, like just football players in general getting, which is like max 7 years, max maybe, I don't know, under $100 million or something like that.
Right. I
But I
think
mean,
there's only been one player that's had a contract longer than 7 years. So it was an 8-year contract, and I don't remember how that turned out, but no one in the
there,
NFL has a deal that long in terms of years. No one
no,
warrants it.
yeah, no one currently has it. The last couple of, I believe they were all the quarterback position. I know that Michael Vick signed a 10-year deal with the Falcons back in like 2003, I think. Drew Bledsoe, if you remember him, he signed a 10-year deal with the Patriots, which is kind of hilarious in hindsight. And I read something about like Brett Favre having a quote unquote lifetime contract with the Packers, but I mean, we saw how that played out. So, 10-year contract, this isn't like anything new, but it's something extremely rare. It's a holographic Pokemon card as far as sports is concerned. And like, usually you hear about like a baseball player who baseball is an incredible sport to watch during the summer and everything. I'm not saying, that it isn't like, I'm not saying that it is any less of a enjoyable sport, but they're not putting their bodies through as much havoc as football players, but they seem to always get the insane contracts.
And the
And
difference is, even baseball players make guaranteed money. So Patrick Mahomes, his $500 million contract, it's not guaranteed money. Only about 140 million of it is.
yeah, it's worth up to $502 million with incentives, but he's still taking home a lot of
Yeah,
money.
he
So
he can open several new bank accounts.
just I know there's a lot of pressure. It's going to be a lot of pressure for him playing with that kind of a contract. So I really hope that he's able to have a good support team around him to keep his head on straight, and for him to kind of just be able to focus on football and not really let it get to his brain too much. That's a lot of money. And as soon as he signed it, just me being the cynic that I am, I'm like, out come the wolves. Now, any flea that's ever been attached to him is going to try to siphon something from him. So hopefully everything worked out positively for him. So, yeah, Patrick Mahomes, major, major contract. I think this is, I mean, the money speaks for itself. So I think this is a great part for us to kind of to close out the show on this episode. What do you think?
I think that congratulations are in order to Patrick Mahomes and Javicia Leslie being cast as Batwoman again, and we can see what other news comes up in the coming month. But it was good hanging out with you guys again, and we hope to share some time with you again soon.
Yes, feel free to hit us up on social media. I believe my social media name is Mickey on VHS. And Leah, let everyone know what your social media tag is.
You can see it below, but it is House of LG on Twitter.
And you can check us out on Instagram on our Instagram page at Nostalgia B Day Party, where you'll get the straight up episodes. So there you go.